Welcome to our session Talk with Leaders, dedicated to Green Recognition Award, with participation of awarded institution Cooperative Bank of Karditsa from Greece. My name is Pavel Kapstorfer, and I'm Microfinance Center Network and Partnership Manager, and I will be moderating the session. In case of any technical issues, please direct your messages in chat to our technical coordinator, my colleague Olga, who is in the backstage, ready to assist you. Our session will last approximately 20 minutes. In case you would have any comments or questions to our speaker, please post them in chat. Towards the end of the session, we hope to have some space to answer them. As you might have heard, at today's opening ceremony, Microfinance Center decided to recognize Cooperative Bank of Karditsa as 2023 leader in sustainable agriculture innovations. MFC is trying to recognize organizations with interesting and innovative practices that serves as an inspiration to others in the sector and encourage them to implement into practice similar or new ideas that eventually help the clients on the way towards their green transition. Cooperative Bank of Karditsa supports their clients with green products, as well as through CreditScore tool, an innovative platform enabling farmers to remotely forecast their crops, taking into account the sustainability of the operations and resilience to adverse climate impacts. We have with us today Panagiotis Tournavitis, the CEO of Cooperative Bank of Karditsa, who will be able to share more details about the activities and innovative tool. Dear Panos, welcome. And at first, I would like to ask you a question to briefly introduce Cooperative Bank of Karditsa, with focus on your coverage of micro and SME clients in Greece market. So,
thank you very much, Pavel.
The floor is yours.
Thank you very much for the introduction and also for the recognition from MFC. Is really a great honor for the bank and to be recognized by your organization as a bank that really operates, I will say, in the forefront of green transition, and really ESG and green transition is something that is very important for our bank. So let me briefly introduce you to our bank. So make a small introduction. We operate for now nearly almost 30 years of operation. We started from a small credit cooperative, and now we have 5 branches, and all of them operate in central Greece, which is our main focus area. We operate as a cooperative bank, which means that we are owned by our members, which are 40,000 small shareholders. We don't have any majority shareholder or any big, let's say, investor that owns the bank. It's owned by our members. And we serve a clientele of 27,000 clients. Most of them are SMEs, very small enterprises, farmers, and social enterprises. And we have a market share of about 25% in our region in terms of small enterprises. Also, we are a member of the Greek Cooperative Banks Association, which consists of 5 cooperative banks and have almost 100,000 members with 50 branches all over Greece. We like to depict our bank a bit as an iceberg, because it's small what you see on the above the water, but it has I would say its main strength has from this very strong foundations that we have laid all these years of operation. So it's important for you to know that we as a bank, we operated, of course, you know, in a very harsh environment, but we never needed any state aid of any form. We didn't cost to the EU taxpayer a single euro, despite what happened to the very big banks. We never needed or forced to recapitalization or have any involvement of the emergency liquidity mechanism that was imposed in all Greek banks. So we are able to operate our bank by ourselves, and we to freely, let's say, follow our business plan. And we are in very close cooperation with the whole STEAM international lenders and institutions, such as the European Investment Fund, the Council of Europe Bank, which until now we are the only Greek bank that have a collaboration with them. And we take to try to bring good practices to our clients through memberships that we have from the Federation of Ethical and Alternative Banks, FEBEA, and also from the Global Alliance for Banking on Values. The harsh environment forced us to ask for an official rating from Microfinanza rating. So we were rating as a bank with a B-, and we are constantly have the highest rank in the among Greek banks when it comes to the supervisory review. We have a common equity tier 1 index of close to 24%, and the liquidity that exists, liquidity index that exists 900%. So we are very well adequate capitalized, and we have enough, more than enough liquidity to sustain our operations. And what we do with all this capital and liquidity is to be consistent with our mission, which is to provide and enhance access to finance to very small enterprises, and to do so in times when there is a need for doing so. And the crisis, the prolonged over 10-year crisis, which was such a period, as you can see, despite the fact that in all Greek market there was a negative credit expansion rate, we more than double all our figures, which bring us to the total asset of more than 200 million euro, which is our current balance sheet size. So it's not only the loan that we have provided, but as you can see, we have gained trust from our members and the community, with a constantly increase in deposits and in members and in general total assets. And as I've said earlier, this has been done with partnership that we have with all big institutions. Of course, the Hellenic Development Bank, the European Investment Fund, which we were actually the one that we brought the term microfinance in Greece. We were the first one to sign with EIF the first microfinance under EASY agreement back in 2016. And from then started a journey where we have a very close cooperation with the EIF, and now recently with Council of Europe Bank, which we have signed a framework loan agreement in order to enhance access to finance and to provide microfinance support to farmers and very small enterprises existing in Greece. And now we have recently signed with EIF for the next framework agreement under the InvestEU for both microfinance and social economy strand. So this is what we do in a nutshell.
Okay, so it's great, to hear that this cooperative spirit safeguarded, your financials, sustainability, your results, and that you were able to build up all these important relationships with all the international institutions. So congratulations for that. Let me now go and ask you, how do you contribute to green transition of your clients through your products and services, while helping them to maintain the sustainability and resilience, to adverse climate impact?
It is important to understand that we operate for 30 years and always being on the positive side. We never had losses for a single year. So we do so because we believe that support businesses is our priority, and we stay consistent to our missions. And we do this with a variety of tools and services offered to our client. We have a 360 support. We offer a 360 support, as we like to say, to our client, which starts from small financial tools that we offer to them, but goes up to business development services offered indirectly by our bank by a subsidy that we owe the development agency of Karditsa. So we provide business development service to our client through this let's say agreement, and we offer to our clients a full range of products and services. And when it comes to protecting them from, offer them support is not only by doing so in terms of everything goes smoothly, but it's important to understand that the times that we are facing and the environment that we live in is a much harsher one, and let's say the difficulties that we will face and the challenges that we will face in the near future will be they will have nothing to do with the past. So we will face 3 times as many climate disasters, the new generation. So it's important for our bank to be prepared for that and to do whatever we can to support the best future that is available to us, which means we have different scenarios in front of us. So we have to really promote a way of doing business that will be on the best case scenario, because the worst case scenario will be something that we cannot survive. So what we do and what we try is not only offering green products, but actually to measure the actual impact of our bank, which is mostly done so by measuring our exposures to other third counterparties. So it is important that we are consistent with the EBA recommends key performance indicator and follow the related methodology for the disclosure. And this is why we are consistent with the EBA suggestion about the green asset ratio as the KPI that our bank is starting to disclose to show the extent to which the financial activities in our banking book, including, for example, loans and advances and debt securities and other instruments, are associated with economic activities aligned with the EU taxonomy and therefore Paris Agreement. So our green assets ratio is 23%, which means that 1/4 of our portfolio is directly related to the Paris Agreement. It is SDG aligned. And we also disclose an asset environmental performance of more than 7%. To put this into perspective, if all Greek banks had this asset environmental performance, we will be able to prevent CO2 emissions double than one that we currently produce as a country. So it's a very high. So it is important not also to do the talking, but do the walking as well. So this is why it is important to disclose such ratios and for the banks to disclose such information, because it is something that everybody can understand and follow.
All right. Yeah, it's really very inspiring. I mean, to see, how transparent and even provocative you are to the sector, because I think, we would like to see more and more players to disclose this information. So I think, as you really mentioned, you are great example, good leader in these efforts, and hopefully others will follow soon. Good. So let me now bridge to the tool which you are using and ask you, how do you evaluate the creditworthiness of your clients and the environmental impacts of the client's activities? Are you able also somehow to measure and monitor the impacts?
The 1 million euro question a few years ago is, how do I assess risk in terms of high volatility when it comes to risk correlated to climate change for long-term farming investments? Because it is not an easy task to assess such a risk. You have a lot of volatility in many factors. So there are many challenges that we face in the farming sector. And as I said, farming sector is one very important for our region and for our bank. So we have some facts. That the fact is that access to credit for agricultural supplies and equipment they are crucial. The farmers are considered in the Greek market as a high-risk borrowers due to volatility of income. So in EU, only 1/6 of farmers have access or easy access to credit. So it's a very low percentage. And what we have seen in our country as well is that young farmers face significant difficulties in accessing bank lending. So it's not only facts for the farmers, there were also facts for the banks that high cost and inflexible loans, they were unattractive to farmers, the products offered so far. So the lack of guarantee or credit history for loan approval were a fact that didn't make easier for the banks to reluctant to lend. There were no easy tools or not enough tools to assess real credit risk for farmers. And we understand that the farmer sector is a high potential sector and can be high profitable sector as long as you are able to proper assess risk. So we have made a coalition with a very esteemed and very well known in the Greek and also the EU market groups, and we have designed together a tool that can bring together current and future data, and we can analyze this to assess and to evaluate farmers' credit worthiness over the next years. So what we're able to do with this information, we have developed a solution that can identify medium-term yield predictions for the growing season for yearly loans. Long-term, we can do long-term yield forecasting for the repayment period for loans that are above 1 year. We can do very short-term yield forecast using satellite data, so we can monitor, actually see the crop as it grows. And we can score the borrower's credit worthiness, so we can create a personalized banking product for the different categories of farmers. And also, we can remotely monitor borrowers' crops live using satellite data. So this is more like a path. So how does it work? We create a profile, we register the specific parcel, we check the land status, the soil, we check the current and future crop plan, we input any subsidies and loan amounts needed, we monitor, according to the crop, we set up the model, the growth model, we collect climate data, and we make a yield estimation for this specific parcel per year, plus revenue estimation, so that brings us a total scoring credit worthiness. And we do so by combining different, let's say, data sets from numerous data sources that are available. And we have done so in 155 cases so far. Unfortunately, due to the floods that happened the last 3 years, we have 2 major floods. We are not able yet to 100% backtrack the model, but we think that it is consistent enough, and we can actually monitor the crop as it grows and do a specific planning and do a specific prediction for the annual yield and the years to come. So that creates many benefits for the farmer, that it broadens access to credit and liquidity, enhance their terms flexibility, and enables them to plan for essential investments, also long-term investment, but also monitor remotely their process. For us, the banks, we can build a more detailed financial profile. We improve our analysis, credit risk analysis, and allow us to take a more deep dive into our risk models. We also can develop more flexible loan products and also monitor what our clients do with their crops. But also the big player is the environment, what they do with the environment, which is with this monitor, it allows us the just use of fertilizer, because we can monitor the crops as it goes with the different crops in the nearby areas, just use of water, proper soil treatment, and there is a limitation of redundant purchases of crop products. As you can understand, you need fewer, because you have more information, more detailed information about the soil and about your crops, And of course, there is less environmental pollution due to the restriction of unnecessary movement of people to their farms and back and things like that. And ultimately, what is done for the best of the environment and to enhance access to finance to our clients. It was a speedy presentation, but I hope you get the general overview of what we do with this tool.
Yes, thank you very much, Panos, for showing a really inspirational example how you as a financier could help also to clients, to reach the level where they understand better, about the suitability, sustainability of their crops to grow on specific fields, and how to adopt the climate conditions which are necessary to understand well while doing their business. And yeah, I think we already use all our time dedicated to the session. So I would like all of you, to see our survey on your screens, answer your session survey evaluation, and would like to thank you all for joining us today. Thank you, Panos, for being with us.